Good morning, everybody. Hello, welcome to today's training on prizes. As you get settled, like we ask for every webinar, go ahead and introduce yourself in the chat so we know who's here with us today. Hi, Jennifer from Healthy Childcare Colorado. Thank you. Food banks. We got early childcare centers. We've got animal causes. I love it. It just makes me smile every time. Thank you guys for introducing yourself. Ooh, I just saw Southwest Improvement Council. That's not a name I've heard before. I'm gonna Google you guys. I'm gonna go on Colorado Gives and see who you are after this. Um, Thank you all again for being here. We're just giving everybody a sec to sign on before we dive in. So grab your morning coffee or drink. If you have a pastry, I'm jealous. That's what I'm thinking about right now. All right, let's dive in. This webinar is being recorded, and so if anybody's joining a little bit late, that's okay. The recording will be available and sent to you guys afterward. Well, welcome everybody. So today, as I mentioned, we are talking about Colorado Gives Day prizes for 2024. And we are excited to bring these to you every year to really just bump up the engagement with your donors and ramp up your campaign and how you talk about your campaign. So today, we're going to be talking about winning strategies for leveraging prizes. This is webinar 6. It's part 2 of a 2-part series on prizes. We have one more webinar left after this, and it's a big one. We just sent out an email yesterday. It's the checklist webinar, and that's happening next Thursday. And that's really just making sure all your T's are crossed and I's are dotted prior to November 1st for Colorado Gives Day. All right, it's confetti time. Let's get started. So hi, hopefully you all know me by now, but if there's newbies on the webinar, I'm Jordan Brown. I'm the Nonprofit Success Manager, and I am excited every day and every week to be chatting with nonprofits across this beautiful state to help them hopefully use Colorado Gives and become better digital fundraisers. Just some quick webinar housekeeping. It is being recorded today, and post-event within 24 or 48 hours, we will be emailing the slide deck as well as the recording. It's a big group today, so we ask everybody to stay on mute and use the Zoom chat unless prompted during the Q&A session. And if for some reason we didn't get to your burning questions today about prizes or really about anything Colorado Gives, just a reminder that support at coloradogives.org is our full-time customer support team. So you can email them at any time, Monday through Friday, and they'll get back to you with a speedy reply. Just a quick recording disclaimer, although we don't have to worry too much today, but any demos that we're sharing with you to protect nonprofit as well as donor data, it is example data that you're seeing. All right. So I had big grandiose plans, but as I was building this webinar, it's a lot to talk about when considering prizes and communications. And so I adjusted from last week what we are going to be talking about today. So we are going to be touching on prize communications. We're going to make sure you guys understand some important reminders, and then we're going to dive right into the prize review. We're going to talk about the recurring gift match, which I know everybody's revved up for, the Southwest Donor Prize, the First Bank Trivia Contest, and then the Good for Business Challenge. In between each section and each prize, we will have time to pause to answer questions specifically about those prizes. And then if you missed it last week, we did part 1 and we covered the prize resources, which you'll get a peek at today again, just as a reminder. We talked a lot about why prizes, talked about the donor survey, and then we dug into the incentive fund prize, leaderboard prizes, as well as the power hours. So if you missed last week, it is up and posted. We also shared it with everybody who RSVP'd. So make sure to take a peek at that one as well as today's. All right, this should look familiar, but just so everybody's on the same page, want to make sure that everybody understands the key takeaways for today is that Colorado Gives Day is a statewide community giving movement, and it's designed to deliver free fundraising tools and access to drive more incentives and drive more donations to your nonprofits year round, and then of course, specifically for Colorado Gives Day. We know that nonprofit prizes matter. Hands down, we've seen enough giving events of our own happen, as well as giving events across the country. And we know that donors respond to incentives where they feel rewarded or they feel their donation is boosted. And so we want to encourage you guys to think about how you're leveraging or building in prize communications into your already planned campaigns. And then last but not least, we don't want you to ever feel overwhelmed. A lot of these are meaty webinars, meaty slides that I'm going through. You don't have to do everything that I'm talking about. This is for all nonprofits throughout the state of Colorado. And so some of it will feel less specific to maybe your mission and campaign. That's okay. You don't have to do everything. We want you to pick things that feel right and fit in to your communications and will resonate with your donors and supporters. Measure it. And then when we come back here next year or for your year-round campaigns, what did you learn from Colorado Gives Day? How did that incentive make a difference in your overall campaign? Quick flash of the schedule. Everybody should be familiar with it by now, but November 1st, all online donations on Colorado Gives start counting towards the incentive fund and any other prizes offered starting November 1st. We have that pesky election. Woo! And then we have November 24th, last day to enroll as a new nonprofit. So if you are a new nonprofit, AKA if you do not have an organization page on coloradogives.org, take action now. Don't wait, and definitely don't wait till November 24th. Turkey Day's up next. Then we have Giving Tuesday, which we are driving all of our supporters and donors through coloradogives.org for Giving Tuesday. So leveraging that big, exciting global campaign for your Colorado Gives Day campaign. And then December 10th is the big day. So that is Colorado Gives Day, when all the media is shouting from the rooftops and focused on celebrating and driving people to coloradogives.org. After that, we take a 2-second break, and then we dive into end-of-year fundraising. And don't lose momentum, because your end-of-year fundraising, we see millions of dollars in spikes in donations in that last couple weeks, and especially those last couple days of the year. If you need help with your end-of-year fundraising strategy, just a quick plug that we are going to be doing a webinar and posting that next month in November. That's all about your end-of-year strategy, so getting you prepped for that. All right, you're probably familiar with these, but they're so important that I'm going to go through them again quick before we jump into the content. So we have free Colorado Gives Day 2024 webinars. You're in one right now. We have one more happening next week. And then we also do have 2 coffee chats. So a little bit more casual, conversational, happening in November. So make sure to RSVP for next week. And if you want to join the coffee chats in November, they're really just going to be check-ins and conversations with nonprofits across the state. We also have NextAfter digital fundraising webinars. And so these are geared towards Colorado Gives Day as well, and they get more into the details and the strategy about digital fundraising. So less about me telling you what to click on coloradogives.org and more about how you structure your campaign to be effective and convert more donors. So please make sure to check out those webinars. If you haven't yet, I urge you guys to activate your free Catchafire subscription. If you're like, what's Catchafire, Jordan? It is a subscription for your nonprofit to get free pro bono work done from nonprofit professionals. So it's not a volunteer program. We're not asking you to get more volunteers. We are giving you professional pro bono services to get your digital fundraising campaigns done, to get everything in between. So invite all your staff to Catchafire and let them leverage this to get work done. A reminder here, now that the toolkit is out and available, that you have an amazing calendar, October, November, and December calendar, that not only spells out everything that's going on, at least from our perspective for Colorado Gives Day, but also built into each month is a checklist. So a lot of what we're going to be going through next week is already built into your calendar. So make sure to check that out. That is on the resources page. You can find the nonprofit resources page in the footer of the coloradogives.org website. And then just a quick reminder, the toolkit is out. And so we have a full-fledged nonprofit toolkit as well as business resources for you. We have one or two things still pending, for example, the Giving Tuesday content. And so that'll be up and available prior to November 1st. All right. Prize resources. So everything we've talked about in part 1 and today, it's all available and public to you as well. So want to make sure you guys know that there are a couple of prize pages that you can reference throughout Colorado Gives Day. So the resources page. Again, this is going to be your main hub for anything Colorado Gives Day and really year-round fundraising. But specifically, it does do a great job at spelling out the perks and the benefits. So this is where you can quickly learn about all of the prizes that we've been talking about, and it links to a bunch of other resources for you. We also have the actual prize page. So this, again, is going through specifically the prizes that are available to you this year and the details. This is also where we will be posting the winners of the prizes. We have FAQs. Boy, do we ever. We listen, we hear you guys, and we want to regurgitate that and provide public resources for you to answer your questions. And so in our FAQs, or how-to articles that are public year-round, we answer some common questions about prizes. And then last but certainly not least, in the toolkit itself, you have a number of prize resources, visuals, as well as messaging, some of which we'll go through today to highlight. But just make sure that you're taking a good look at the toolkit. All right. Thanks for hanging in there with me while I reviewed that for anybody that's new to Colorado Gives Day or to these webinars this year. Let's talk prize communications now. So I redid this slide a couple times because it's kind of hard to communicate. But the way that I would approach or kind of think through my prize communications is thinking about donors. How am I generally talking to donors for Colorado Gives Day? What are the different prize call to actions? And how do they reflect my other campaign messaging, my value propositions? So basically, making sure the prize language that you insert into your campaigns feels natural, feels inspiring, feels urgent. You also want to make sure that you are all the way through end of year, really, but specifically Colorado Gives Day on December 10th. We want you to be telling people about your campaign project. Even if they already donated, continue to invite them in. Let them know how it's going. And there's always an opportunity for a secondary ask, even if someone's already given. Same goes with your goals. So at the beginning of Colorado Gives Day, you should be communicating your success from last year, as well as your goals from this year. And it doesn't always have to be monetary. You don't have to tell people, hey, I want to raise $30,000, although that's really clear and inspiring. Maybe this year you want to get 100 new donors. I don't know. I just pulled that out of a hat, but there are different goals that you can communicate that best fit your campaign and will inspire your donors. The secondary ask. So as I mentioned, people are going to be actively giving to you throughout this entire time period, but don't discount them if they've already given. So what is that secondary ask? Is it follow us on social media to see campaign updates? Is it set up a recurring gift? The $250,000 match is still available. So what are the secondary asks that you can prepare for your donors? And then along with that, we don't always want to be asking. We also want to be thanking. And so make sure that you are prepping now your thank yous. And by thank yous, I mean overarching for Colorado Gives Day, but specifically for your prizes. If you're asking donors to give for the 7 to 8 a.m. power hour, after the 7 to 8 a.m. power hour, let them know how you did and thank them and give them a secondary action. Share this campaign on social media to help us in the next power hour. So there's definitely some ways that you can make sure that there's a holistic communication plan that also works in the prize language. Make sure you're considering who in your network you can activate. So of course, we're always talking about supporters, donors, but staff, volunteers, your board members, they should be invested in these prizes too. So make sure you're empowering not only your donors, but the other folks in your network. Same with current and past fundraisers. So I think sometimes that's like a missed opportunity. So if you have a bunch of individuals that last year or last month created individual fundraiser pages connected to your organization page, reach out to them. Ask them what they're doing this year. Ask them to refresh their fundraiser page and raise funds for you again. And so that's definitely a segment that I've seen kind of be overlooked in the past. So make sure you're engaging fundraisers if you have some. And then business activation. So we'll talk about the Good for Business Challenge today, but maybe your business can't do the Good for Business Challenge this year for whatever reason or scenario. They can still share your organization page, share your goals, share messaging that you prepare for them. So there are some really easy ways that businesses can still be activated for prizes or in certain hours to make sure that they are getting, to make sure that they are supporting all of their nonprofit partners for Colorado Gives Day. Okay. Last thing here is timing. So just making sure that when you are thinking through your communications plan, you're thinking, okay, we've got November 1st through December 9th. So prior to Colorado Gives Day, the big day. We've got communications on December 10th, the big day. And then there's the afterwards. There's this December 10th to the end of the year. And so that's how I would block off my communications. Now let's talk briefly about what your messaging might look like. And again, all of this, or a lot of this, I should say, is in the toolkit resources. So what you're seeing on your screen, you can also copy paste from the toolkit. So just a quick prize message review for the different prizes available this year. When you're talking about leaderboards, make sure that you are including inspiring information that continues to engage your donors and bring them back. So your donation today gives us a fighting chance at winning this leaderboard. Your gift today helps us get to placement on leaderboard and closer to fundraising goal. So inserting your specifics there. Today is Colorado Gives Day, your last chance to donate and enjoy sweet victory when nonprofit wins prize. So that one's a little bit fun, but I want you guys to have fun. Sweet victory, like bring those donors in, make them feel emotional, make them feel the urgency and the importance of the prize. Power Hour prizes. So these are happening on December 10th. It's Power Hour time. Every donation you make from specific Power Hour time gives us a chance to win an extra $2,000, multiplying your impact. And then we've included some hashtags there because Power Hours are great, specifically to be sharing on social media. So those are just some examples for those two prizes. When we take a look at the $1 million incentive fund, we are saying your online donation of any size. So we want to make sure people know, hey, if you're giving during Colorado Gives Day, your donation is boosted or amplified. Use either of those words to get that message across to your donors. No matter what, you get a piece of the incentive fund if you donate to nonprofit today. So your online donation of any size will be boosted or amplified by the over $1 million Colorado Gives Day Incentive Fund. And we have some additional language for newsletters, and we actually have some email language as well as in the toolkit. I want to make sure that everybody knows, because we've heard it in the past, that when you're talking about the incentive fund, we should not be using the word match because it's not a match. It's not a true match in the sense that the donor is getting a one-to-one match for their donation. You as a nonprofit are getting a percentage based on what you raised and what everybody collectively raised. And so I just wanted to highlight that when you are creating your materials for the incentive messaging, we are using the term boosted or amplified or something similar to that. Match can be misleading. That $250 or $1,000 recurring gift match, that is happening November 1st until the funds are exhausted. And so we want you to be expressing that you can double your impact by setting up a new monthly gift to have your first recurring donation matched up to $100 for Colorado Gives Day. So we'll talk much more today about the recurring gift match, but that's just one example of some language you can use. Here are some other examples. First Bank Trivia Contest. And so this is available in the toolkit, but this is explaining, hey, this is a great and fun opportunity for donors to get involved. Donors are answering the trivia questions. When they get them right, if they are selected, they get to designate that $1,000 directly to your nonprofit. Pretty cool. And just a fun new way to participate. The Southwest Donor Prize. Turn your donation into a vacation. I thought that was funny. Maybe it was just a late night rhyme that I liked. But every hour you make a donation of $100 or more to nonprofit on December 10th, so this is only for December 10th, your gift is randomly entered to win a Southwest Airlines voucher, good for a round trip airfare up to $400. Last one here, good for business challenge. So a message you might use in your newsletter, email communications. This Colorado Gives Day, any business can make an impact in a few clicks by participating in the Good for Business Challenge, sponsored by Delta Dental of Colorado. The first 50 businesses to raise $1,000 get an additional $1,000 match for your nonprofit. Businesses can create a free page today to join. So that's just one way you might talk about it. All right. So those are a couple examples to warm us up for today and get us thinking. And here's a checklist that I want to make sure everybody has because there's some great resources on here as you're preparing all of your communications. So first, we want to ask ourselves, did you review the Colorado Gives Day Toolkit and the calendar? If you did, awesome. Did you create your campaign value proposition and your goals for your campaign? So we are linking here to a webinar that's specifically about creating value propositions. We just completed it. And I really want everybody to take a look at it. It's a great webinar, and it'll get you prepped and ready for Colorado Gives Day. Did you update your page metrics to reflect your goals? So you have an organization page, or maybe you're using a fundraiser page. You can update your metrics on your organization or fundraiser page to start counting November 1st and set your goal for this year. So make sure those are up and reflective of your 2024 campaign goals. Did you map out your campaign email strategy yet? And it's okay if that's a no. We still got all of October. That's why we're talking about this now. But we just did a webinar that was phenomenal with NextAfter, specifically on Colorado Gives Day email strategy. So we go through how to write an email that gets high conversion, and then also suggested calendar for you guys for Colorado Gives Day. Did you have a moment to watch our social media trainings? So those were trainings we did last year, but they are still super relevant. So we did one generally on social media, reach and engage donors on social media. And then we did one about advertising. So the power of social media ads. And then last, I know I'm shouting it from the rooftops, but I really want everybody to be using Catchafire because it can help with anything your nonprofit needs help with. Social media, we're seeing a lot of website updates. Obviously, marketing's a big lift for people using Catchafire. A lot of marketing projects being completed. Image sourcing, I could see that being a big one for Colorado Gives Day. I always hear nonprofits say, we just don't have good images, or we don't have a professional photographer, or we don't know how to source them. Use Catchafire. Fundraising strategy, of course, you can have calls with experts. You can do Spanish translations. We have a ton of Spanish translations happening right now as everybody preps their materials for fall and end of year. And then, of course, Catchafire can help you do things like embed your donation form from Colorado Gives. So if any of these seem unfamiliar to you or you think that they would be helpful, I really encourage you to take a moment and go through this slide when we share it with you. All right, some important prize reminders as we chat through the prizes in the next section. Seems obvious, but want to reassure everybody that only online donations made via coloradogives.org from November 1st through December 10th count towards Colorado Gives Day prizes. So you do have the ability within coloradogives.org to add offline donations. You can upload one at a time, or you could upload a whole spreadsheet of them. That's great. That's helpful for you to keep track of what's going on. But I just want to be clear that only online donations, because those are the ones that we can truly verify, are counting towards the prizes. New nonprofits need to enroll by or before November 24th to ensure you're eligible to win the prizes and participate, of course, in Colorado Gives Day. So don't wait until November 24th. Just a reminder here to make a test donation and check your to-do list ASAP. So on your organization page, I find that a lot of people feel stuck or they're not sure how to customize. And I say the best way to figure out how to customize is to go through the donation process yourself, because that will give you a real indication of where you can make updates. And you can customize the donation form, the thank you page, the receipt, and of course your public-facing organization page. Just a reminder here that a nonprofit cannot win multiple leaderboard and power hour prizes. So they can win a leaderboard prize, they can win a power hour prize, but they can't win multiple of both. So just a quick refresher from last week. Disbursement of incentive fund and other prizes that are awarded to your nonprofit, they'll be sent out in December and available in your reporting once they're dispersed. So I did link the disbursement FAQ here. Take a peek at it when you have a sec, just to refresh yourself. We disperse on a monthly basis, and then December's a little special. We have 2 disbursements. Nonprofits are placed in the appropriate category based on total revenue as reported under the EIN. So this is specifically talking about the categories of small, medium, and large, which is reflected in the overall search for Colorado Gives Day, as well as the grand prize leaderboards and the Power Hour leaderboards as well. So we are verifying this information, and these are the buckets that everybody is going into for Colorado Gives Day and for the search year round. All right, I'm going to pause here because I've been chatting for a while. What questions are coming up for you of what has been covered so far? Is there anything that I said that I can clarify, or any questions, Katie, from the group?
Yes, we've got a couple of questions
Great.
here. The first one is how to see which businesses are signed up for the challenge already so that we don't invite them again.
Sure. So I would say invite them. Do not rely on checking with our team to see if they are signed up already or not, because whether they have a page or not, they need to feature you on that page. So you need to have the conversation with them. And so, yes, we can share who is on the list. It's not public right now. So it's something that if you want more information, you can reach out to support@coloradogives.org. But I would say, as a rule of thumb, it doesn't matter. If you are partners with a really cool business, tell them to create a page. And we'll talk about this in a little bit, but if they create a duplicate page, we will catch that. We are running reports daily to see what businesses are creating group giving pages, and we're reaching out to them. So if Excel created a page last year and for some reason created a new page this year, we can reach out to that contact directly and just make sure they're set up appropriately for this year's business challenge. Good question.
Great. And then is this an incentive fund only applicable on Colorado Gives Day, or does early giving count?
Early giving counts. Every donation from November 1st through December 10th counts towards the incentive fund. So that, I mean, if you don't focus on any other prize language, lean on that, because we know from that donor survey that we talked about in part one that donors are making decisions and are incentivized by the incentive fund. So make sure that you are communicating that there is always a benefit to donating through coloradogives.org during Colorado Gives Day. Good question.
And then we have lots of people wanting to know, how do they find their direct URL to their organization's Colorado Gives page?
Oh, good question. All right, let's do it. I'm going to hop off of the slide deck. We are going to take a look right now because that's an important one. I had just pulled up this page. I was working with them yesterday. Wonderful organization. And what you're doing here, you're logging in as an admin of your organization page, and you are going to check out. That is where you're customizing anything related to the checkout flow, to the donation process. Once you get there, you're going to donation form. Can everybody see my screen? Can I get a thumbs up? I want to make sure I'm not talking wildly. Okay, there we go. And from here, now you're on your donation form. So you can see here that if I were this nonprofit, I would definitely lessen the amount of suggested donation amounts, and I would put a description in here. So just a side note. But the real question here is, how do I get my direct link? Here it is, folks, up here at the top. So you can copy a direct link to donate. And let me show you what that looks like. Here we go. You can send folks directly here. So no funny business. If you know these folks are going to give, you can send them directly to this form. Also, if you put question mark recurring equals true behind this URL, it'll default to monthly. So maybe you didn't catch that, but it went from one time, which is the general default, to monthly. So this is a unique URL that you can share with people who are setting up a monthly gift. Great question. Love it. Any other questions like that that deserve a demo break?
Let's see here. Well, I do have a question. What's the smallest amount that you would recommend for a donation on there?
Oh, on the suggested donation amounts.
Yes.
I would say take a look at last year's activity and see what the common averages are. What are people donating? And then I would say, without, you know, bumping it up too much, if people are generally giving $25, maybe you start at $30, just to have a little bit of an upsell. So take a look at last year's data or a separate fundraiser campaign's data to see generally how people are giving to your nonprofit. That'll give you some indication of what suggested donation amounts might resonate most. Good question.
And then another donation form question. Can they be different for one time versus recurring? The amounts and descriptions that make sense for these can be very different.
Totally. That is the hope for 2025, but that's a good question and a good clarification. It does not change. So these suggested donation amounts stay consistent, whether someone is selecting one time or monthly. It is something that we are hoping to upgrade in 2025. So hopefully you get that announcement next year that we're able to make some more adjustments to the suggested donation amounts based on one time or monthly. But for now, this set is related both to the one-time donations and monthly option. Good question.
And then shifting gears to the power hour, we get to choose any hour on any given day with the campaign. And how do we know if we received the extra 2,000 to share with our donors?
Good question. So make sure to watch part 1 of the webinar because we went into detail about power hours. Power hours are on December 10th, so on Colorado Gives Day. They're not happening all throughout the campaign. There are certain hours that you are choosing to drive donors to give during that hour. If you were to win that prize, we would communicate directly with you, probably me, after you win that prize that hour. And it's also posted publicly. Another thing we do is typically we are posting also on social media, the nonprofits that are winning those Power Hour prizes. So you'll definitely know.
And then can you show what the description looks like when they put in a description while you still have that?
Oh, sure. Let me head back here. Let's go back to them. We're going to head to checkout, donation form, and you're asking about the suggested donation amount descriptions. So
Yes.
it's just text. So it could be $25 puts 2 pairs of shoes on orphans' feet. It could be specific to your campaign. $25 gets us this much closer to our capital campaign goal. So you have a description area where you can really make it relevant to the amount, but also to your campaign. So people are seeing your social posts, your emails, they're hearing your specific stories for Colorado Gives Day. You can reflect that here in the donation form as well. So definitely get creative about the suggested donation amounts. Good questions. All right, I'm going to move on just so we have time for everything. Is
I've
that
got
okay,
just
Katie? Anything
one.
else urgent? Yeah.
Yeah, just one more and then that's it for questions. Can a
Yeah.
business just fund the good business page on their own?
I'm not sure I understand that question. So a business can create a group giving page. So they do that on their own. And Colorado Gives Foundation staff is checking in with them, is making sure they're setting up their page so their campaign is successful. And so, if I'm understanding correctly, your question is, can they do it without your hand holding? And the answer is yes. So they can go to the business challenge page today and create a group giving page in a couple clicks. If I've
And then
misunderstood, oh, go ahead.
she clarified, can they fund it is what I mean.
Oh, I see. Can they make donations through their own page? Yeah, a donation is a donation. As long as it's an online donation, as long as it's happening through their group giving page, yes. Of course, that's not really the point. We want them to be sharing with employees and their networks to get new donors in and exposed to you and giving through those group giving pages.
Great. Thank you so much.
Awesome. Good questions. I know I say that a lot. All right, so now we're talking about the $250,000 recurring gift match. So just a quick reminder about recurring giving in general. So monthly donations can make a significant impact by providing a reliable source of funds for you guys year round. So we are asking you to empower donors to set up a monthly gift, and they can then manage it themselves on coloradogives.org. So it's not going to be more work for you. This is a fully accessible site where donors can log in, see all of their receipts, all of their past donations, and any recurring donations that are actively set up. I also want to remind folks that when we're talking about recurring giving, we have a built-in recurring as well as a retention report to make tracking your success with this prize or any of your campaigns a breeze. So don't sleep on the built-in reports that are available to you through your organization page. I've linked some resources here that I feel are really important just about recurring giving. So this is an FAQ just around how you manage recurring donations on coloradogives.org. We also have one specific to what I just showed you there in that demo, how to default your donation form to recurring with ease. And the last one I inserted here was great. It's directly from Mighty Cause, but it just gives you some great ideas around how you might cultivate more recurring giving on coloradogives.org. So some nice resources for you as you're preparing for this prize. Not to ignore the right-hand side here, but I want to make sure you've probably seen these numbers before, but I think they are really powerful. So we know recurring giving is the most valuable type of donation. And that's why Colorado Gives Foundation is putting up this $250,000 recurring gift match to allow you to make it easier for you to ask your donors to set up a monthly gift. So recurring donors give 42% more per year. They also give 440% more over a lifetime. Whoa, that's a big number. And then 75% of recurring donors also continue giving for at least 6 months, and many for years. And I'll just say that when we had a recurring gift match last year, so last year was the first time we did this $250,000 recurring gift match, we didn't know what to anticipate. We didn't know if everybody would set things up and then cancel, within a month or two. They didn't. Everybody, and I don't want to say everybody, much more people than we anticipated kept their gifts active. And so that, of course, creates so much more value than a one-time donation for you through Colorado Gives Day. Here's just an idea of how you might ask for a recurring gift. And of course, this is specific to a youth-focused organization, but you can edit and adjust and appeal your recurring gift message to really pull at the heartstrings and to talk about the longevity of your mission and your work. Every child deserves a chance. I have a child. He deserves a chance. Your monthly gift provides a lifeline. There's the urgency for youth programming and lifelong benefits for children who need it most. Give today, and then you're sharing the URL where you want to drive people to give. And then I linked here just some more example language. It's not specific to Colorado Gives Day, but it's an article I reference often. And so if you need some more ideas on recurring giving language, definitely check out that resource. All right, let's talk about the actual prize. So this is happening from November 1st until the funds are exhausted. And so on November 1st, Colorado Gives Foundation is providing this $250,000 recurring match, and it's going to be live starting November 1st, which means there's going to be a visual on your organization page, on every organization page. So all nonprofits will automatically see the match display on their page, and that will stay there until the $250,000 match funds expire. So we've set that up on the platform so that there's high visibility to encourage more giving and more monthly gifts while this is available. Both the recurring gift match as well as any independent matching grants that you set up on coloradogives.org. So anything that you set up as an independent nonprofit, if you have identified a matching grantor, awesome. You can still use the matching grant tool to schedule or make live any of your own matching grants. So we can have multiple matching grants showing on your organization page. Nonprofit admin, once the recurring gift match is expired, the nonprofit admins, so if you are a nonprofit admin of your organization page, you should be getting communications via coloradogives.org, via our foundation. And once it's exhausted, we're going to be notifying all of you. We're going to let you know, hey, the $250,000 is exhausted. Congratulations. And then we'll also remind you to remove that from any future messaging to your donors. So we are going to be communicating with you to update you on this match, this prize. This, I actually say it twice because I want to make sure people understand. If a donor sets up 2 new recurring gifts, both would get matched up to $100 as long as the matching funds are still available. So this isn't each donor gets 1 match. Donors can set up multiple recurring gifts for 1 or multiple donors. And as long as those matching funds are available, and as long as it's a new recurring gift, they are going to be eligible to get that gift matched. So pretty exciting. Here's what it's going to look like for a donor as well as for you as a nonprofit. So again, November 1st until the funds are exhausted. And so November 1st is when you should be starting to ask about these monthly recurring gifts. Once the donor sets up a new recurring gift and that recurring gift successfully processes, Colorado Gives will send an automated email receipt to that donor, just like we do for one-time donations, with the tax deductible language. And so once the recurring gift is set up, they get the standard automated receipt that confirms. Secondarily, or in addition, I should say, they also are getting a special prize confirmation email. So we don't want to leave donors hanging. We want to let them know, hey, you got your receipt and that's great, but we also want to let you know that your recurring gift was matched. And so we will be sending within 24 hours of folks setting up a recurring gift, that special confirmation email. And the goal here is, like I said, to provide donors with the reassurance that their new recurring gift was matched up to $100. So we're running that report and sending out that communication on a daily basis to keep donors updated as they set up those recurring gift matches, or recurring gifts, I should say. Some important information about the recurring match. So I get this question a lot, and it's a great question. Donors should not, so your messaging should not be, hey, cancel last year's gift, set up a new gift. Don't do that. We do not ever want to tell a donor to cancel any gift. That doesn't mean that scenario won't occur, and donors have full access to edit, update, cancel, manage any of their recurring gifts directly through coloradogives.org through their profile. But we never want to advertise canceling a gift. And that's because all they need to do is set up a new gift. They do not have to cancel their old gift in order to be eligible for the recurring gift prize. Only new recurring gifts set up can qualify for the match. And that match is up to $100 of the first recurring gift. Just an FYI for anybody that does currently have recurring gifts set up on coloradogives.org for your nonprofit, editing or updating those gifts will not qualify you for a match. So you can't take your 2023 $50 a month gift and bump it up to $100 for Colorado Gives Day and have it match or count towards this. It has to be a completely new gift that a donor is setting up. Here I am saying it again. The recurring match is not limited to 1 times $100 per donor, which just means that donors can set up multiple recurring gifts as long as these funds are available and they can get matched. all recurring gift questions should go to support@coloradogives.org. So if you have any concerns or questions, or if your donors have concerns and questions, the speediest way to get help is through our support team, and they can help specifically with these prizes and for Colorado Gives Day. I also want to highlight that there was a change from last year for this gift. So last year we were matching the second gift, if you guys remember that. And that was kind of weird to say. So we've shifted it. We are matching the first gift that a donor sets up. And so that should make it easier for you this year to market and communicate this incentive. The other change that occurred was that last year we started at November 20th. We really just weren't sure how it was going to unfold. And so we started a little bit later on in the campaign. Well, it was super successful. And so we've shifted it to open it up November 1st. So there can be more early giving activity and campaign momentum. All right, I'm ready for it. What questions do y'all have about this match? Hopefully that helped, but I know there's just a lot of curiosity and excitement around this one. So Katie, what's going on in the chat and how can I help answer some questions?
Okay, so first we have, is there a separate thank you message for monthly gifts, or is it the same as one-time giving?
Good question. So it is the same. So again, in that checkout area on your organization page, you have the ability to update the donation form, the thank you page, and then the receipt as well. And that is consistent whether it's a one-time donation or a recurring gift.
Great. And then I think that you kind of just answered this, but just to double down, this is probably a request for 2025, but is there a way to customize the donor receipt specifically for recurring donors?
So it will indicate if it's a one-time or recurring gift in the receipt. So have no fear. We are communicating with your donors and you can see and send yourself a test receipt directly from the receipt area where you're editing and updating it. It won't be specific to a one-time versus a recurring gift. It will be messaging that is universal. But it will, within the details, the tax deductible details, it will let you know what type of gift it is, one-time or recurring.
Great. And then we had a few people asking when the recurring match was met last year, or another way to word it, how quickly did it expire?
Yeah, so as I mentioned, we started at November 20th last year, and we had a little bit of funds left. And so that was one of the main drivers for us bumping it up to November 1st. And I'll be honest with you guys, we kind of were a little bit more quiet about it last year. And that wasn't for any other reason other than we wanted to see organically kind of how it rolled out. We're talking about it this year and it's starting earlier. And so it will get used up. And so I would say for that first couple weeks in November, if it makes sense for your campaign, definitely focus on that recurring gift match. We do not know how long it will take for it to be sucked up, for it to be exhausted, but we do have the communications in place to make sure that you know when it is.
And then I've got two questions here that are pretty similar. The first one is, how long do the recurring donations need to continue in order to get the match? And then the second one is, for those that set recurring donations last year, is there an end date or is it indefinite? How do they donate this year for it to be considered new?
Good question. So for the first gift is getting matched. So for that first question, the first gift is getting matched. So they could set it up, get it matched, and technically they could end it in a month or 2 months or 3 months, or they could keep it going. That is really up to the donor. The first gift is matched this year, which makes it less challenging to communicate. And then Katie, could you just repeat again, what was that second piece of
Sure.
the?
How do they donate this year for it to be considered new?
Great. So again, we don't want donors who set up a recurring gift in 2023 to just adjust that gift. That will not qualify them for this prize. What we want them to do is set up a new recurring gift. And so that will qualify them for the prize.
Great. And that is all we have so far.
Awesome. All right, I'm going to keep going. Thanks for hanging in there with me. We have until 10:30 here, and we're doing questions throughout. So I'm going to continue on with these other prize areas for us. All right, trivia and Southwest prizes. So for the First Bank Trivia Contest, this has been just a wonderful, fun way for donors to engage with our lead sponsor, but more importantly, in a really easy way, win you guys some extra bucks, some extra prize grants. So let's chat about it. So for Colorado Gives Day, First Bank is hosting a trivia contest. There has been a change this year in that in past years, it was hosted on Facebook. This year, it's going to be hosted on First Bank's blog. And that's mainly to better protect you guys, information, and that sort of things. And so there is a shift from Facebook to the questions being posted on the blog. So just wanted to give you guys a heads up right from the get-go that that small change is hopefully going to be a better experience for everybody who's participating this year. This is how you play. So trivia will be live on the blog from December 2nd through December 6th. This is a great way to start getting people revved up prior to Colorado Gives Day. The contest, as I mentioned, is not on Facebook this year. It is on the blog. Each day, 2 questions will be posted, and the winners will be randomly drawn from those who answered correctly. So if your supporters are super into trivia or just mildly into trivia, if they answered the question correctly, they can be selected to designate the prize to your nonprofit. Supporters can help a nonprofit by correctly winning that prize. And if they designate that money to you, it's an extra $1,000. So that's a great and easy way to get donors excited, engage with the campaign, answer some fun trivia, and then win you guys a prize. Let's see. Hold on, let me head back here. I guess the last thing I'll mention here is that the way that we post these trivia prizes is that they are posted within 2 hours. The winners are posted within 2 hours of it being announced. So within 2 hours of that question being posted, we are turning that around and someone is winning a prize. So just a really happy, great way to engage with folks leading up to Colorado Gives Day. So that is the trivia contest. Next is the donor prize. So the Southwest Donor Prize. So this is happening only December 10th. When a donor makes a donation of $100 or more to a single nonprofit, and we'll talk about that in a sec, on Colorado Gives Day, on December 10th, they are automatically entered into to win an airline voucher. So they are put into a random drawing as long as they donate at least $100 any hour of the day during Colorado Gives Day, during December 10th. They have the ability to win an airline voucher. There's one winner each hour, and it's up to a $400 value. So I think that's really a powerful snippet to make sure that you're including in your messages. Colorado Gives Foundation will also award an additional bonus trip after midnight. And that's from all of the donors throughout the entire Colorado Gives Day who gave at least $100 or more to a single nonprofit during December 10th. So let's take a moment and talk about that single nonprofit piece. And so we are awarding this prize to anybody who's donating at least $100 to one nonprofit. And we make that distinction because, if you remember, people can check out with tons of nonprofits in their cart. But if you have 20 nonprofits in your cart, it's going to be impossible to really determine a prize winner from that. And so it's only for people who are donating $100 to one nonprofit. So in your checkout flow, you only have one nonprofit in your cart to donate to. So just a clarification there. So long story short, there are 25 airline vouchers available total, one each hour of the day, and then that bonus one after Colorado Gives Day ends. Donors can win one airline voucher each. And these winners are posted on Colorado Gives Day on a special Southwest prize page. And that's only after the foundation is communicating with the prize winner. So we do check in with each donor and say, hey, you won this prize. It's not a fake. We're not scamming you. We're real. Thank you for donating. And so we do have that connection. And then we post the winners for that hour as we connect with them and confirm that they accept this prize, because the donor has to accept the prize in order for us to post. So just some details there. Again, this is just a feel-good extra way for you guys to talk about Colorado Gives Day. It's an extra bonus and an extra warm, fuzzy feeling for donors when they're giving that they could win a flight. They could win a vacation for their donation. I think I'm going to copyright that. So I'm really excited both about the Trivia Prize and the Southwest Prize because they are donor specific. They're really bringing the donors in a really fun way, in a really lighthearted way that also wins, in the case of trivia, wins your nonprofit some great extra funds. All right. I didn't stick it in here, but I would like to pause here to make sure if there are questions about the trivia or about the Southwest Donor Prize, that we answer them. Katie, is there anything going on in the chat that we need to make sure to check in about?
Yes. So for the trivia competition, just a clarification, is it
Sure.
$1,000 per question?
Correct. Yep.
And then,
So
oh, go
great
ahead.
opportunity. I was just going to say, so great opportunity. So for any nonprofit to win.
And then for the Southwest voucher, will they all be $400?
I think that's just talking about the value. So up to $400 value when you're purchasing a ticket. So probably like you can't buy a ticket to Malaysia. You know, that's probably a little bit more expensive than $400, but you can still use that voucher for your ticket to Malaysia. I don't know why that's what I chose, but as my destination. But yes, so the call to action is donors are donating $100 or more to qualify for this prize. What they get is an airline ticket that's worth up to $400.
Okay. And then are there any special requirements to access the trivia blog on First Bank?
No requirements, but thank you for asking that question. We do have the blog linked on those resources pages where we reference that, but that blog, I just learned, won't be live until November 1st. So if you're like, well, this link isn't working for me for the trivia blog, it's not just you. First Bank is making some updates, and so that link will go live by or before November 1st, so you can access that blog.
And then for the single nonprofit part, can they check out again with another single nonprofit in their cart and be entered again?
Yes.
Great.
Correct. Good question.
And then I have one quick clarification question from the last section that came up. Do you have time to answer that real quick?
Totally. Yeah, let's do it.
So if we aren't having donors cancel their current recurring gift, but instead having them start a new recurring gift in addition, would each new recurring then pull separate times from their account? They just want to be sure that people aren't over pledging for a recurring gift.
Oh, I see what you mean. Yes, so it would be a separate transaction. And so it would pull at a separate time. So if they have a 2023 recurring gift that they set up and they set it up November 15th, that's when it's processing each month. If they set up a new one this year and it's November 24th, that is when that recurring gift is going to start processing. So they don't sync up and process at the exact same time. That's a really good question.
Awesome. And that's all we have.
Awesome. All righty. Good for business challenge. Here we are, last section for today. And let's dig in. Oops. Okay, so the Good for Business Challenge is happening November 1st through December 10th. And it's presented by Delta Dental of Colorado. So thank you, Delta Dental, to inspire business giving in Colorado. So what you should know about this business challenge is that it's here for you to engage your business partners. And we want them to create a group giving page. I linked directly to the spot where you're going to be encouraging folks, and I can pull it up on my screen after we chat through these slides. We want these businesses to share this group giving page, which features your nonprofit or maybe multiple nonprofit partners with their network and start raising funds as soon as November 1st. One clarification and question we get quite often when asked about the business challenge is who should be creating the page? So who should actually be clicking the button to create that group giving page? And we do request that it's actually the business contact, someone from the business that is creating that group giving page. That doesn't mean that your nonprofit can't also have access. There can be multiple admins on the business page. But what we're asking is that those businesses are the ones that are creating that page. And that's because we are going to check in with them, make sure that they know that they're participating in this challenge. And we're going to handhold them and make sure that their pages are set up because we saw that in prior years that the businesses need a little bit more hands-on support. And we don't want that to land in your lap. So when you are asking businesses to participate, you are asking them to create a group giving page, not you creating it on their behalf. And that's truly because we want the most impact from these pages. And the way that we get the most impact is by empowering the actual business. Once the group giving page is created, like I said, the business is contacted by our foundation team, likely Jerry Culver, and he's the development and community engagement manager. And we want to make sure they understand what's happening, the functionality of the page, how they should be setting it up. So really just checking in with these businesses. Businesses who have created a group giving page, and that's starting October 1st through Colorado Gives Day through December 10th, they're getting a series of automated emails as well. So a human is checking in on them once they create that group giving page. And then they are also getting automated emails from Colorado Gives Foundation as they work through their page. So as they set up different aspects of their page, we're reminding about the next step to make sure that they are fundraising by December 10th. In the nonprofit toolkit, we do have a full section specific to the business challenge. So if you haven't checked that out yet, not only does it have a presentation, so if you're in real time or talking to a business about why they should participate and feature your nonprofit, we have that slide deck template available. We have snippets for your newsletter to talk about the business challenge. And then we also have a formal invite. So templates for you to use as a jumping off point to have those conversations with businesses. I get questions a lot about why a business should participate. And first, I want to say that it can be any size of business. So if you'll notice, in the past, we called it the corporate challenge. And that was misleading because honestly, they weren't mostly corporations. There were some big guys that were competing last year, but a lot of them were the mom and pop shops, the local community shops that really sustain your communities and engage with your nonprofits day to day. So I just wanted to first express that whether it's the coffee shop down the street or whether it's Coca-Cola fundraising for you, the business challenge is open to any size of business. We want these businesses to inspire their team and also ignite a culture of generosity. So this is a win-win for businesses. In a couple clicks, they are showing their employees how generous they are and that they are participating in philanthropy for Colorado Gives Day. It makes a lasting impact, and that's what businesses want to communicate that they're doing. Obviously, it's free for businesses, just like all these other pages that we can create on coloradogives.org. And these pages can be customized to fit this business's brand and look and feel. Again, in a couple easy clicks. They'll, meaning we, Colorado Gives Foundation, provides the tools that the business needs to promote the challenge. And so in addition to the toolkit that you guys see, we have a special toolkit for the businesses as well. And that's what they're getting when we check in with them after they create that group giving page. And that's what they're getting as reminders in those automated emails. So we really are hoping to holistically try to raise all boats by continuing to support businesses and how they fundraise on your behalf. I want to remind everybody that once these business pages are set up, they can be used year round to continue to evolve your relationship with your business partner through employee giving and fundraising. And so these business pages, once you get them to set it up, you could engage them in March, maybe for a summer campaign, maybe for the fall campaign. And so there's going to be lots of different opportunities once you open this conversation up to invite your business partners in to help you fundraise and to help bring in new donors and awareness. And lastly, it is a chance for businesses to help, to participate. So this isn't now just about donors and nonprofits. We are inviting businesses to the table because a lot of businesses just don't know how to participate. They need to be asked. They need specific direction in order to be philanthropic. And so we hope that this business challenge really presents that opportunity for you guys as nonprofits to approach these businesses and encourage them to participate. I think the last thing I'll say here, and we've been talking about the business challenge here for a couple of webinars, so hopefully it's familiar to you, but if it's not, Delta Dental is putting up $50,000. So the first 50 businesses that raise $1,000, they get matched $1,000. So if they're raising $1,000 through that group giving page, they are getting matched, and those funds are being dispersed to one or multiple nonprofits that are being featured on that page. So it's a really special way for, of course, you guys to get some more incentive funds, some more match funds, but more importantly for you to, through your business partners, expose your nonprofit to new audiences and to hopefully new donors and fundraisers and supporters. All right. So let me actually, before we take questions, Katie, I'm going to head to the business giving landing page because I have a feeling maybe out of all the pages, this might be the one that people haven't taken a look at yet. And so the way I'm getting there is I'm on coloradogives.org. I'm going to ways to give. And then from there, I'll show you what it looks like. I'm going to business giving. All right, so here I am. I'm on the business giving page. So this should really provide everything a business needs. So we, of course, at the top here are talking about why businesses should participate and how easy it is, the audiences they should be engaging, aka their employees. And here's where we talk about the Good for Business Challenge. So right here at the top, we want to invite any business, and this is where they're clicking. This is where they're creating that group giving page. I'm going to show you just how easy it is since we have just a couple of minutes. So hang tight. I'm going to create a page. I'm going to put in my inspiring page title, example company A. I hope everybody else has more exciting titles when they actually create their pages. And here I am. I'm already on my page. 2 clicks and businesses have created the page. Now, if they did nothing else, they would still get contacted by us because they've created a page. And we are running those reports on a daily basis to make sure we're helping any businesses that want to be philanthropic. The other thing I'll point out here is that very easily they're adding a logo and maybe a background image. They are adding a goal if they have a specific fundraising goal for the campaign. But most importantly, they are showing a list of one or multiple nonprofits that they're featuring. We'll do Boulder County for Center for Judaism. So this business is saying, okay, Center for Judaism is a partner of ours. I want to feature them on my business page. Great, added. They can do one or multiple, so they could fill this up. Maybe a business has an amazing Rolodex of business partners. The other thing I will share with you that businesses can do on these pages is they can check or uncheck the ability for people to browse other causes. And so maybe they're featuring 3 or 5 nonprofits here. But we also know that employees might want to give elsewhere. If they click through this link, this business page is actually going to track where those businesses, where those employees, where those folks in their network gave elsewhere on the platform. So it's also a way for businesses to gain more insight into what their employees and network is interested in philanthropy-wise. So that is the business giving page. Now I want to show you a couple other resources because this page was just updated. So here we are linking to the toolkit. So remember that there are resources available specific to the business challenge and the toolkit. This is a tutorial specifically, basically what we just saw, except in longer form, how to create a group giving page. So if businesses are unsure, just need a visual, of course you can do it with them in real time, or you can have them watch this short tutorial. We also have a tutorial here because on these group giving pages, businesses could set up a matching grant. So maybe they want to raise funds for you and do employee giving. Maybe they also want to give you a $5,000 match. Huh, great. So these pages have the ability to set up matching grants on them so that businesses can run a comprehensive digital fundraising campaign. And there's a tutorial here that shows businesses how to easily set up a match. So that is the business challenge in a nutshell. What questions can I answer about the business challenge? Or, since we're getting close to time here, any other burning questions that you guys have about any of the prize discussions that we've had in the last 2 webinars?
So first question is this only for Colorado businesses?
No. Any business can be philanthropic. Good question. Yeah, I should have said that up front. So, I mean, you could imagine that a lot of the businesses that are participating are Colorado-based, but we also had some national ones or ones from, the border states around Colorado that serve or have a high population of their audience in Colorado. So, no, that is not a qualification.
Great. And then, this one just got answered, and that is yes, they can support multiple nonprofits.
Correct. Yep. And that's a win-win. I mean, obviously, you want to be the only nonprofit highlighted. That would be wonderful. But also there's more value for these businesses if they have multiple partners that they can highlight. It also gives them, again, the insight to see who's donating to what from their audience and from their employees. So I think a lot can be gained from a couple of clicks with this business to help you grow your philanthropic partnership with them.
And to clarify, businesses receive no money whatsoever from this challenge/group page creation. All money raised goes to the nonprofit and to Colorado Gives Foundation.
Great clarification. Correct. We are only ever dispersing funds to verified 501c3s. So these businesses' jobs are to, raise more money and hopefully qualify for that $1,000 match for nonprofits. We are not sending any money to businesses. They have enough.
Do the business have to leverage only their employees to raise the funds, or can their customers and contacts also donate?
Yeah. I mean, any and everybody, right? So businesses have this whole, from your nonprofit's perspective, untapped audience. So obviously, employees is a really kind of easy way to get people to give. But yeah, it goes beyond that. I mean, I would be encouraging businesses to share with their employees, social networks, maybe even providing them some sample content to put in their communications to talk about what they're doing for the challenge. Yes, it can be any type of business can participate.
Great. And who would you say is the best contact at a business who would be able to leverage adding this gift?
Good question. Yeah, so it depends on the business. If it's the coffee shop down the street that feeds your nonprofit staff every other day, then probably the owner, unless they have a development person, at that business. So again, if you're talking to a coffee shop versus Excel Energy, Excel Energy likely is going to have some philanthropic or development representatives. So employees that have more specific titles that regarding philanthropy or development. Um, but for these smaller or medium-sized businesses, I would say likely it's going to be buy-in from, the business owner themselves, and that's who you really want the relationship with um, down the line. Good question.
And then our final question is a general Colorado Gives question, which is how do we avoid donor fatigue during the giving period?
Yeah, that's a really good question, and we actually answered it a little bit in. I'm just going to pull it up since we're looking at a visual. We answered that in this webinar. Woo, webinar number 3 here, defining your Colorado Gives Day email strategy. Because I get it, it's a concern. So what we talked about in that particular webinar was that really during Colorado Gives Day, there is donor fatigue, but this is when people are giving. If there is one time a year when people are deciding to be philanthropic, at least in the state of Colorado, it is during this time period. So while it may seem counterintuitive, you need to put the pedal to the metal and be communicating more than what feels natural during this time period. So I would say that. I would say watch this recording. And then I think I would also say segmentation. So making sure that you're not just blasting the heck out of everybody with emails, um, taking a look and saying, okay, my first email goes to everybody. My second email in a week goes to everybody who didn't give yet. My third email goes to everybody who didn't give and board members. So I think it's just really finessing who you're including and who you're excluding. Because if the message isn't relevant to that segment of donors, yeah, there's going to be fatigue or confusion or misunderstanding. Basically, there's not going to be action. So I would say always a concern, but what we learned from the donor survey and what we know across marketing in general for these giving days is that donors have already decided to give most likely during Colorado Gives Day. So it's your job to retain them, so get them coming back, and to also hopefully appeal to them to donate more or take a different or bigger action for you this year. Does that answer that question?
I think so.
Okay.
And one more question came through, which is if an individual donates through a business's campaign page, can that donor be added to the nonprofit's mailing list to do a follow-up thank you? Or do they need to elect to register for newsletters separately from donating?
Oh, good question. Um, I'm just trying to think of how to say this. So any donation that is ultimately made to your nonprofit, so whether it's through a connected group giving page, fundraiser page, event page, team page, ultimately you are getting all the donor data related to those donations. So that's available in your reporting area. And so as far as newsletters, I would say that's almost like a policy choice. How do you engage and use the donor data from people who are giving to you. I know some nonprofits that in their donation form or in their follow-up thank you, they are saying, you gave during Colorado Gives Day. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Can we communicate with you more? So I would say if you do need to ask if people want to be communicated with, I would do it in the donation form. You can add a custom question, up to 2 custom questions. Or I would do it in the thank you. I would do it afterward. So after that transaction is complete, you celebrate the transaction, and then you are engaging with them and letting them know what's ahead, how you're going to plan to communicate with them for the rest of the year. So I just mean, I think it's a timing question. You're capturing that information about if they want to be contacted either in the initial donation checkout flow, or I think it's almost better to do it in the thank you. Now, the last thing I'll say about this question is that you have their donor data information. And so if they are opting to donate to you, some nonprofits consider that their hand raised to be communicated with afterward. So that's really a policy question about how you guys want to function as a nonprofit. But hopefully those were some ideas about how you might help a donor raise their hand and say, yes, I do want to be communicated with. So again, through the donation form, or I would say in your thank you, in your post communications, you would be talking more about, hey, here's what we're doing the rest of the year. Here's how I would like to talk to you. Can you opt into our newsletter? So I would never muddy the initial communications. You want people to give. After they give, you can figure out some of their other requirements and some of their other needs as a donor as you continue to engage them. Hopefully that wasn't too rambly and that answered your question.
I think so. Another one just came through. We have a business partner that donates $1,000 every year on Colorado Gives Day. If they were to set up their own fundraising page and donate, quote, to themselves, would it count for the $1,000 match?
Yeah. So if they're setting up a group giving page and they're donating $1,000 through it and they've raised $1,000, they get that $1,000 match. Now, it's not really how we want the business challenge to unfold, right? If the business is already giving you that $1,000, tell them to set it up as a match this year so their employees get that feel good feeling when their donation is matched. So I'm just saying, if you know a business is going to give you $1,000, think a little bit more strategically about how that $1,000 can be leveraged towards that business's campaign. I'm leaning towards, for this scenario, asking them to set up a matching grant, put up $1,000 match to kick off your campaign November 1st and start sharing your page. So that would be how I might approach it.
That's great. Thank you so much.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, guys, we are close or at time. I hope this was super helpful. There is so much that we could talk about with prizes. I hope that in part 1 and part 2, we were able to focus on some of the technical, some of the logistics, some of the communications, so that around that you could build your fun, inspiring, exciting, urgent campaign with these prizes. Thank you guys so much. I know I'm asking a lot of you by participating in all of these webinars this year. So I really appreciate everybody showing up. Hope you have a great week and weekend, and we'll see you next Thursday.